Hey guys, what's up? It's me. I'm finally back and I have a haircut now. Well, that's not the point. The point is my Elden Ring video is finally here. If you guys have seen my collection video, then you know I have a bunch of games. And a bunch of those I haven't really played. But one of the games I did play over the summer was Elden Ring. I played the game a little bit. I didn't do too much. The main thing I just did was just beat the main first boss and try to beat the second boss, but I was never able to. But that was before this summer. And at the start of last summer, I decided to replay the game and try to get really far into it. And that I did. I played the game a lot, but I didn't beat it because it's just way too long. But I did get really far into it. At least I think I did. I don't know. I don't know how long the game really is. But I got really far into it and I wanted to share all the clips that I made. It's not a full playthrough. It's just like a compilation of clips that I made with some narration. But I just wanted to show you guys my Elden Ring journey. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that I started the editing process like back in September of last year. And then barely finished it this time, so you can kind of see the progression of my voiceover slightly improving over each take. But yeah, if you guys notice me sounding a little bit weird in some points, it's just because I recorded it over like a period of 6 months or so. So yeah, just keep that in mind when the quality of my voice over changes from time to time. But I just wanted to share my Elden Ring journey with you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. Immediately upon starting the game, you're greeted with a screen to choose your class. I chose the hero class because out of all the different classes, the hero has the highest strength, which is good for wielding the greatsword. You're shown a brief little cutscene that shows off some of the enemies that you'll be fighting, but after that's done, you're finally allowed into the game. You start off in a little church building of sorts before you actually are allowed to go outside. And once you go outside, you get a look of the Erd tree. The Erd tree, the most iconic sight of the whole game. It looms over the entire world. No matter where you are, you can always see it. But after looking at the Erd tree, you encounter the first boss of the game. And just like every other Souls game, you're always meant to die at this first boss. After you die, you get a brief glimpse of your body before a girl on the horse comes up to you and starts talking to you.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all.
After that, you wake up in a cave and have to go through a quick little tutorial just to learn the basics of combat. But once you finish with that, you're free to explore the open world. I came across this guy and the first thing he does is insult me and say I have no hose.
However, you are maidenless.
So immediately after that, I get some hose.
I offer you an accord.
The hoe in question is Melina,
Treat him
and she agrees to be our maiden. This basically gives me a way to level up, and she gives us our horse. And now that I have my horse, it's time to get the greatsword. For that, I need to go all the way to Caelid, go to this area with a bunch of dogs. I need to look for a carriage that has a chest in the back, and that's where I can get the greatsword. I was barely able to get it without dying. And then I died right after. I have the sword now, but I won't be able to use it because I don't have the necessary stats in order to actually use it effectively. For now, I'm going to be exploring the open world and grinding for runes by killing some bosses and being killed by others. But after a few hours of grinding and leveling up, I was finally ready to face the first boss. It took a few attempts, but with the help of a summon, I was finally able to kill him.
Yes, it did it! Oh god, I did
By
it.
killing this boss, I unlocked the castle and I was free to explore it.
The gates are open. It's only your neck.
Unfortunately, the first NPC I found was not helpful. I explored the castle for a little bit, but I decided to return to a grey site so I could level up. But after leveling up, I was finally able to use a greatsword. Although I could use a sword, I wasn't super effective with it just because I was moving too slow because the sword was super heavy. So I kept exploring the open world so I could kill more bosses and get more runes so I could level up my character so I could use the sword more effectively. One of the bosses I came across was the Tiba Mariner, and this was just a ghost on a canoe that would spawn another ghost. I also fought some other enemies like, oh, I don't know, a dragon? The only other Souls game that I had played before was Demon Souls, and that game had nothing like this dragon. This dragon was insane. It covered nearly the entire screen and each hit nearly killed me. It was terrifying, but I was finally able to kill after many attempts. Defeating all these monsters meant that I had a bunch of runes, so I decided to head to the round table to upgrade my weapons. Oh yeah, the round table. I haven't talked about it yet, but this is a place where you can find other NPCs and upgrade your weapons.
You're telling me I possess some kind of gift?
After upgrading my weapons, I decided that I was finally ready to defeat the second boss.
Lowly tarnished. Playing as a lord. I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden.
I fought this boss once before, but I was never able to beat him as it was too difficult for me. But now I felt more prepared than before. The first side of the fight is not too bad. All you really have to do is just avoid his swings and roll whenever he does his attacks. But halfway through he does this.
Truest of dragons. Lend me thy strength.
now this has a damn dragon on his hand, and now the fight becomes way harder because he can now coat the floor on fire and even one-shot you by picking you up and burning you to a crisp. But since I upgraded my agility, I was able to avoid his attacks and finally be able to kill him.
I am the Lord of all that is golden. And one day,
After finishing this fight, I decided to keep on exploring the open world and fight more bosses. And this is what I like the most about Elden Ring. The world is so open and diverse that there's much to see and do in the game. Like, there are boss fights in every corner of the map. Like, there are spots around the map that just let you teleport to boss fights, and they're so much fun. That was a perfect level when I fought these bosses, since they weren't too difficult, though they weren't too easy. So finding these spots and fighting the bosses was a ton of fun. You can also travel to smaller Earth trees around the map and fight bosses. They're called the Earth Tree Avatars. And these guys are harder than the other open world bosses, especially the one in Caelid. That one was terrible. Speaking of Caelid, Caelid is one of the many regions that you can explore in Elden Ring. This place is rough as the enemies are far more aggressive and more powerful compared to the other regions. Even upon entering Caelid, you're met with a spirit that will attack you. This can easily kill you in 2 hits. This isn't the only spot where you can find spirits. They're usually all over the map, and they usually just are guarding something. So it's always worth killing them so you can see what they're hiding.
you picked the wrong house, fool!
You can also find entire dungeons around the map, and these are pretty fun to explore as these dungeons are full of enemies, traps, and usually have a boss fight at the end of them.
Hello there.
The variety is what makes Elden Ring so great. There are so many places to explore, so many items to use, and so many bosses to fight that it keeps the game interesting. Most boss fights in the game are not required in order to progress through the main story, but a few are, like this dragon. This dragon was way harder than the first one I fought, because this one had way more health and did way more damage. But your reward for defeating the dragon is the key to the Academy of Raya Lucaria. This location is cool, as it is a big magical school, but this ain't like Hogwarts, as every magician here wants to kill you. This place is really cool, as it's really big and holds multiple boss fights within it. explored here for a little bit before going back to the open world. After I killed Godric, which was the second main boss of the game, I unlocked a big new section of the open world to explore. This place is visually similar to the first explorable area, it's just that this area has different and stronger enemies. I spent a lot of time fighting the different bosses across the map, fighting some small scale bosses and some large scale bosses. All the while, I was getting a bunch of runes and leveling up my character. I even updated my wardrobe. I fought a bunch of different bosses and I didn't struggle that much with any of them until I reached the Falling Star Beast.
Please! Now!
This boss was really difficult because it killed me, then killed me again, before killing me a few more times. But after so many deaths, I finally beat the boss. I then decided to return to the academy and continue to explore some more. And while I was there, I ended up fighting the main boss of the academy, Renalia, Queen of the Full Moon. The fight has two phases, and the first half ain't all that bad. All you have to do is take out our minions that are keeping their shield active while avoiding our attacks. The second phase is a bit harder, as the queen will throw a bunch of projectiles at you, but I was still able to defeat her. I felt extremely powerful after defeating her. She's one of the most powerful characters in the game's lore. And after defeating her, I leveled up and returned to the enemy camp that I visited frequently at the start of the game. Revisiting that enemy camp really showed just how much I progressed in the game, as I can easily swing my sword multiple times and deal a bunch of damage that will kill most enemies with just one swing.